If you're wanting to build a sustainable, long-term, multi-topic YouTube channel, this video is for you. I'm going to dive into that idea as part of my reflection on last month's YouTube analytics and the progress that I made after publishing 25 videos in October. This year in January, I got serious about YouTube, starting at just 68 subscribers. And now I'm just short of 400 at 385 subscribers. So I've made a lot of progress. I'm very grateful for the progress that I made. And I've learned a lot of lessons that have helped me figure out what works, what doesn't. I'm going to share some of that with you in this video today. I'm also going to dive into what makes me optimistic about my YouTube growth and the philosophy that is emerging out of the experiment that I've been doing as I've been building a financially sustainable YouTube channel. And as someone who earns my income primarily through freelancing, working part-time, earning six figures, I'm using the rest of my time to figure out how to build a content creation business that allows me to earn income instead of just creating content for free. So I want to share some of that insight with you. This is my first month this year where my top video was an old video. Every month this year, I've been publishing new stuff, lots of new content. And usually it's one of these new videos that hits off, but not in October. So that was a surprise. That was something unexpected. Now, part of that has to do with I didn't have any new video that really hit it off. That really got a lot of traction. And so the older video did really well compared to other older videos that I've had. But it wasn't so well that I couldn't have beaten it. It's just that none of my new videos really got that type of traction. So I'm actually excited about that more than a new video getting traction, because if older videos are getting more traction than newer videos, that means I'm actually accomplishing my objective with my YouTube channel, is building a content library that delivers watch hours while I'm sleeping. I don't have to make new videos for the old videos to get watch hours. And so if those are actually helping me grow my channel, that means I've hit a success point. The more of those that I can get, the quicker I can actually get to monetization in a sustainable way without having to have a viral video hit. And that's one of the key insights that I share with you, is that building that content library is going to be a huge advantage towards moving towards monetization, and then also building a channel that's sustainable. Let's dive into my analytics just to give you a little overview on the progress that I've made and how many watch hours did I get last month and how many have I gotten throughout the year. Now we're going to look just at videos. I have done a few shorts here and there, but I'm going to exclude that from the data so we can get a pure picture of just the wide format videos. And really, as a YouTuber, you've got to get 4,000 watch hours, 1,000 subscribers, and those watch hours have to come from wide format videos. To get short views and short watch hours, they don't actually help. So we're going to separate those until we get monetized. Then we might start to pay attention to them. Here's my dashboard in YouTube Analytics, and you can see here this wolf box mirror. This is a episode of Juniper and Jones, episode number 5, where we are converting our Bram ProMaster into a bookmobile. So it's a series that I'm recording and editing, and my wife is actually doing the construction project on that van. So we had a particular technology that we bought, a rear view camera mirror. And so she installs it, reviews it, and that's our most popular video from that series so far, but also continues to get watch hours. That was in June, and here we are in November, and it continues to get watch hours. So it got 12.7 watch hours. I had 111 watch hours for the whole month, which is awesome. So my goal is to publish 26 videos per month. Half of those are clips from my podcast episodes. So the idea is to publish 26 videos per month and get at least 100 watch hours every single month. And so I'm excited because last month in October, I got 111 watch hours from those 25 videos. And some of that was from the older videos, which is fine, but that's the idea. And now that's not enough to get to 4,000 watch hours within 365 days. But that's really my next goal, is to just sustain that over time, let the library of old content continue to grow, and then I can set another goal for the number of watch hours per month. And eventually I'm going to get a little over 300 watch hours per month to be able to hit that monetization goal. So as far as my new video, I had an episode with my local mayor in the Sugar Hill, Georgia area, and that had the second one. I had another friend of mine from many years ago that we got reconnected, and I had him on the podcast, and then there's other episodes as well. So one of the things about this is 111. You'll notice that this number one video is 12.7 watch hours. So that's really only 10%. So my number one video is 10%. And a lot of the months that I've had where low amount of watch hours or a lot of watch hours, it's heavily skewed where a lot of the videos don't get much watch hours, but a few get some. And so I like having a more diversified watch hour portfolio so that there's less volatility and more steadiness. And that steadiness is going to be more reliable in getting towards monetization. At least that's my hypothesis. We'll see what happens. I'm getting a lot of watch hours, but across a lot of different videos from the library, and I'm glad for that. So let's go ahead and look at the whole year. I'm going to go ahead and put January through the end of October. And then we're going to just look at the watch hour by month. All right, so you'll see here, right? So we had a huge hit in February and then kind of declined until July. June and July took a bit of a break. And then August, I kind of ramped things back up, got to 151 watch hours. And then September was a little bit of a dip. And then I'm back up to 111. It's a little bit more volatile. And now it's getting a little bit more steady and consistent. So I'm grateful for that. This is the number of videos published. So you can see I published a ton of videos, 77 in January and 110 in February. And a lot of those were clips from my podcasts. And I've had a lot of podcasts, so I had a lot of clips to pull from. And I was experimenting with what type of podcast clips work best. And you could go back and check out some of those episodes where I talk about that. But the quick answer is if you do clips, try and make them over 5 minutes. Those seem to do better in terms of getting more watch hours for you and getting more traction from my own experience. So I do less clips than I used to, but I am more strategic with the clip creation that I do. I ended up dropping down to 28 in March. And then you can see it kind of panned out. I ended up going a little bit lower. In June, I had 14. In July, I had 18. And I decided going forward, I wanted to do 26 videos per month. 26 in August, 26 in September, 25 in October. My goal, 26 videos per month, 100 watch hours. And if I can do that, I am happy. So let's pull the watch hours back up here. So you'll see the watch hours did go up when I was doing more. When I went down, I did a lot of videos, got a lot of watch hours. I did less videos, didn't get as many watch hours, and I kind of found my Goldilocks zone, which is the 26 videos. I want to talk about my old watch hours because those are growing. So old videos getting more watch hours, and that's growing steadily, and I'm very grateful for that and happy for that. But before I do, I want to just let you know this is my last YouTube analytics video for the year. So I've done one every single month as I've gotten serious about YouTube. But one of the things that I do every single year, I'm a blogger, I'm also a podcaster. At the end of every year, I take time to reflect on that year, kind of capture what happened, lessons learned, wins, failures, all of that. And then I put that out as a annual reflection point. And then I take a break. So in December, I won't be publishing anything to YouTube. I'll be completely gone, which will be another experiment. How does YouTube handle someone taking a break for a month after they publish so many videos in the 11 months before that? So I'm going to take a break. It'll be from creating and publishing, also from social media. I have a video about that. I encourage you to check it out and join me in taking a break so that when January hits, we're rejuvenated and excited, chomping at the bit to get back into the saddle and start publishing more content for our channel and all the other places that you create and publish content. Another thing that I'll be doing over the course of this month, November, is I'll actually be doing some of that reflection, some of that looking back at this year and doing a series of videos to share the lessons learned, the wins, the failures, and some of the things that I want to capture from the year that I don't want to forget. Think about that as an opportunity for you to create videos. Is like, what are some videos you could create so that you can look back at this past year and grow? And that's really a big part of that looking back. Is that's one of the ways that we grow into more mature leaders and adults is by looking back and also aspiring forward, setting goals in the future and reflecting on the experiences that we've had. That way we don't end up making the same mistakes over and over. We actually grow and change. And that's part of the idea with this video every month is to reflect on the last month of YouTubing. And that's helped me continue to pivot and shift towards a better and better way of YouTubing. These are my old watch hours over the last year. And an old watch hour for me, the way that I define new, recent, and old is new is the last month. So new would be any videos I publish in October. Recent would be the 3 months before that. So September, August, and July. Any videos where that would be recent videos. And then anything older than July, so June and older, is going to be an old video. And so old video watch hours is what I've been watching for. And you can see in January, I had 10, I dropped down to 5 in February, and then it kind of just stayed around 10 with a little bit of an uptick in May, June, and July. But it was August where things really took off. I got up to 31 old watch hours. And then I had a lot of good watch hours in September, 21.673. And then October, I was able to surpass my record and hit 37.573 watch hours. And this is the progress. This is what I'm looking for. Because if I can get 37 watch hours per month on existing videos, let's pull up the calculator and look at that. So that's 450 watch hours every year that I'm getting that I don't have to make new content. If I'm trying to get to 4,000 watch hours, that's 3,500 that I have to get. I don't have to worry about that 500 chunk. And so if I can continue to grow old watch hours by building out the library, then that baseline becomes something that the new videos just build on top. And so the more I see this grow, the more I see as more realistic path towards monetization that doesn't require some big video having some big hits. So that's a few thoughts on old watch hours. One other thing I'd like to just dive into is and share some interesting insights is just traffic sources. How am I getting watch hours? So it's not just about old watch hours, but it's how I'm getting some of those old watch hours, and also how I'm getting watch hours in general that I think is a bit more sustainable, which has to do with search, both YouTube search, Google search, but also some other channels. So I want to dive into the external channel here and just share some of this with you. So you can see from an external 22 of the watch hours that I've gotten are from external sources. And so just to kind of go back here, the total number of watch hours that I have is about 1,320 for 2025. So I'm a little bit higher for the last 365 days, but for 2025, I'm at 1,325. And so 222 of those, 16.9%, is from external. Now, the browse feature and recommender, that's about 41%, so a little bit less than half. But under external, we've got Google search. And you'll notice my Google search has been growing every month. And so I've got a little bit of November, so that's why it's going down there. But I had 9.71 Google search watch hours. It was my highest. 9.69 was second highest in July. And then Facebook, I actually had a lot in March. Particular interview that I tagged someone and they helped share it on Facebook, and that seemed to do really well. Facebook is one of the channels I seem to be able to get people to actually watch YouTube videos on. The other channels seem to be much more difficult. I have been getting a little bit from LinkedIn. So you can see this here. September, I got about 2.3. So it's not a whole lot of watch hours. It's 9.5 for the year, which is very little, but it's something. And then my website, I've got about 13.4 with a lot of those actually coming in October. Let me go back to traffic sources and click YouTube search. So YouTube search gets about 10%. So between external and YouTube search, I'm getting about 27% of my YouTube watch hours from those. And then YouTube search, a lot of people say YouTube search, you don't go for it, don't do it. And I think if you're an established YouTuber, that probably makes sense. But it's really bad advice for small YouTube channels because it's really just a reliable way to get YouTube watch hours for your videos. And so I've got 132 watch hours from YouTube search, and I'd rather have that than not. So those that say you shouldn't do it, don't listen to them if you're a smaller channel because it really makes a difference. When it comes to content creation and building a sustainable content business, what I've been doing is publishing content. I've been blogging, I've written 2 books, I've been podcasting, and then this year I added YouTube to the mix. I'm trying to do the things in the areas that I want to do them to create value for other people and share that, and really picking the channel that's best for that, but also that's most rewarding for that. Instead of conforming just specifically to YouTube or Facebook or any particular channel, I'm, I guess, agnostic in a lot of ways. I really like YouTube because of its evergreen orientation. And so I'm really leaning into it for that. And that's where the library approach that I'm taking comes in. But at the same time, I'm also doing a lot of other things in other places and trying to figure out which of them are going to be the most fruitful, and then how to kind of take the content that I'm doing and package it and position it for that channel in the best way possible so that I can actually move towards my goal, which is to build a $100,000 content creation business. So earn $100,000 per year creating content, doing YouTube, podcasting, blogging, all of these different things for my products. I have my freelancing business, so I don't need to earn income, to survive or to do things or to save or to invest. That's taken care of. So I have this kind of sandbox to be able to do things and experiment. And that's why I have more flexibility, kind of lean more into what I want to do and where I can create value for others versus having to do something just to pay the bills, just to earn income. So that's a little interesting insight. I've learned a lot of things throughout this year just to streamline my process. And one of them is YouTube titles. I've come up with a really great prompt to help me run the transcript of the YouTube and then process it through that and then create a much more compelling title that's more likely to get traction. And I experiment with the titles and the thumbnails. One of the things that I think can work really well on YouTube or really any social media channel is you put a lot of stuff out there and then you figure out what's working and you do more of that. And one of the things I do with people, particularly my wife, is I'll ask them a question and I'll ask them a question because I'm looking for their answer. I'm looking to understand them. And so I'll actually ask the question from a bunch of different points of view. I'll ask them, from this angle, from that angle, I'll kind of reword it and ask it in a different way. And it gives me kind of a 360 perspective of their answers so I can actually have a better understanding of it and also kind of understand it at a deep enough level that I could actually answer questions for them that they haven't actually given me answers to because I understand it at a deep enough level. And so I think with YouTube, you can do the same type of thing where if you figure something out that's working, you can talk about that in a bunch of different ways. For example, I've got some videos on the YouTube algorithm, and they're kind of talking about the same idea, but it's just coming at it from different angles and different points of view, and is kind of exploring and teasing that out in a bunch of different ways. And these YouTube analytics videos are that same type of thing where every month I'm looking at the last month and the things that are working, the things that are not, sharing the lessons that I'm learning. And this is something that this is something I've done historically on my blog where I look back and I set goals for the future. So I'm just doing that as a YouTuber through a video channel instead of writing it down. And so I'm taking some of these practices and habits that I've done before and I'm just applying them to video and towards my YouTube channel. So I think one of the things that can be helpful and help YouTubers be successful is to circle around topics that people are interested in and just tackle it from different angles, different points of view, different personas, different audiences. And I think that can give you an insight on just how to create content that gets traction. And so I'm actually creating a lot of different content, and it's creating these orbits of videos around particular topics that get more traction and those that get less traction. And that gives me clues on what I should do next. How could I do more of what's working and less of what's not? Now, the difference between that idea in itself, so you could take freelancing and even like a very subset problem in freelancing, like getting more clients, getting your first client, getting more work from your existing client. Like you could tackle that problem of getting more paid work from clients from a variety of different angles, like let's say 100 angles. Well, now if you want to make that a little bit more complex and you want to expand that, you could actually tackle other problems that freelancers have, like work-life balance, working too much, taking breaks. You could talk about, financial investment. So you have something in retirement. You could talk about how do you continue to market yourself when you have a lot of client work so that when that client work ends, you're not starving or looking for that next thing. So there's a lot of topics that you could tackle as a YouTuber that's talking about freelancing. And so that's something that I'm doing, but I'm actually taking it a step further, which is okay, now I have freelancing, but now I have these other categories. I have politics, I have technology and software, I have YouTube growth, I have small business development, I have personal development, my Christian faith. I have all these pieces, and I'm actually now I've got 100 of these angles on these particular problems of these, 5 or 6 or 7 categories. And so now I've got this opportunity to create a rich library that traverses the different topics. Now, because I'm circling so many of these points of interest in videos around them, it's going to take me longer to build the library. Instead of 100 videos about this one problem about how to get more freelancing clients, I'm actually doing 100 videos around these 6 different topics, 7 topics, however many there are. So that's 600 or 700 videos. So that's a lot of videos. That means it's going to take longer to do those, which I'm okay with because that's the type of channel I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build something that's more long-term focused, that I'm looking out across the next 10 years. And I'm trying to build a channel for that, not just for now or for in the future. And part of that is because I can do that because I have that freelancing business foundation, that financial foundation. So I can build something bigger and more long-term that doesn't have to be financially sustainable right away. I want to move towards that goal of earning 100,000 a year, but it doesn't have to be that right now. And it also gives me interesting opportunities to get income in other ways. I've already gotten 3 sponsorships for my YouTube channel, and I'm only at like a little less than 400 subscribers. So that seems very unexpected. I'm very grateful for it. So that's an awesome opportunity. I've been able to earn some money from those sponsorships. I didn't have to wait to get 2,000 or more subscribers. I found a way to make those happen, and I had some luck along the way, and they intersected, and I was able to take advantage of those. So there's also opportunities to do that as well. And so some of the videos I created were specifically around that sponsorship that I wouldn't have made if I hadn't had that sponsorship. So that's another interesting angle to think about. So I want to talk a little bit more about just having this larger picture, larger vision of the YouTube channel that I'm trying to create, which is when you think about people that have mentored you or even YouTube channels that you followed it, think about a YouTuber that's taught you about like some specific topic, and you watch their videos and you watch like 50 or 100 of their videos, and you really learned from them. They really helped you. But you got to a point where they weren't really saying a whole lot of new stuff. Like you hit the edge of what they could teach you and what you could learn from them. And they were just continuing to do that. And there's nothing wrong with them doing that. But what if they had other things that once you've completed that chapter or that course or that program or that topic, you could explore other things from that person? And that's the type of channel I want to create, where you come to my channel for perhaps freelancing and you explore all these freelancing videos and you learn a ton about freelancing. And then you're like, maybe I'm interested in going further and starting a small business. So then you check out my small business videos. And then maybe you're interested in some of the personal development, the leadership that I'm talking about. And so you explore those. So it allows you to cross these different topics. And so as a user or as a audience member, I'm wanting to create for you the type of library that allows you to explore and expand across a variety of topics, but not be stuck in one. And so that's a two-way street where it's not just the creator that's just creating one thing, but it's the audience that's just consuming the one thing. Now, as a YouTuber, you kind of get that already with YouTube because you can look at this guy for this topic and that guy for this topic. And so you get that in a way. And so I kind of want to replicate what YouTube is doing in the broader sense. I want to take that vision that they have and I want to step into that more intentionally and create a channel that has that built in. That, this is a channel that you could be watching 10 years from now, and there'll be stuff that'll help you with where you're at in your life. I just launched a parenting video about coaching teenagers because I have teenagers. So I kind of revisited one of the parenting books that I've read and I shared those insights with you on the channel. And so that's another topic, another layer. And so you might say, well, wow, that's a lot of different things. But I think with the algorithm, it actually makes this possible because the algorithm's going to recommend stuff to you that you want to see. And it's going to shield you or hide the content I create that you don't want to see. So if I post 5 videos across 5 topics, the algorithm's only going to show you the stuff you're interested in. If I can build a large enough, rich enough library, there'll be tons of videos for you to watch in those topics. And as a creator, that gives me the excitement and the interest and the opportunity to continue to learn and to grow and to create videos across topics. So I don't get stale, I don't get stagnant. I continue to do interesting things. It's exciting and motivating. And I don't get burned out because I'm just doing one video about how to get your next freelancing client. So I like the idea. And a lot of YouTubers that I'm seeing that are kind of really focused on a specific niche, what I'm seeing is they're branching out. They're realizing that that's not sustainable both for them or their audience and that they have to add more topics. And I'm simply just starting from the beginning with that intention, where I'm starting with an array of topics and then just creating content across them in sort of a round robin type of way. And there's some intentionality between how can I create content that's most likely to get me watch hours? How can I create content where I can actually get some kind of an income? So I got my books or different products or affiliate links. So those are ways I can earn income. So I can narrow in on those types of things so that I can give myself more fuel for the ship to continue flying. But ultimately, I have a lot of flexibility to be able to build this long-term library and this long-term plan. Those are a few thoughts that I'm having just about YouTubing at this time and this last month. November is going to be my last month for the year of YouTubing. Then I'm taking December off. And then sometime in January, I'll boot back up and start publishing more content again. And I'll do probably a reflection of the whole year and my analytics for the year and maybe pull together all the lessons that I've learned. But this will be your last insights for this year for YouTubing in my journey from 68 subscribers to 385. My goal is to get to 400 by the end of the year. So if you're watching this and this has provided any value, please subscribe to the channel because I'd like to hit 400 before I end the year. And then when I start in January, I can hit the ground running. And hopefully my goal is by the end of 2026, I can get monetized. If not, if it takes longer, that's fine. Again, I'm playing the long-term game. So if it takes me longer, it'll take me longer. But I would love to be able to get monetized by the end of next year. And I'm hoping all the things I've learned, all the lessons I've taken and the pivots I've made and the strategies I've implemented, that I'll be able to really make that happen in 2020. My name is Jason Scott Montoya. This YouTube channel is about sharing systems and stories for living better and working smarter. I appreciate you listening, and I'll see you on the next video.
Are you a freelancer struggling to get clients and sustain an income? Check out Jason Montoya's book, Path of the Freelancer, where he provides the blueprint for mastering freelancing and sustaining a business of one. Start generating a six-figure freelancing income